and welcome to another episode of the Convoluted Podcast. And I want to thank everyone who's been listening lately. It's been a real big hit with the Reddit post that I had a little while ago, and we have grown surprisingly exponentially, and I want to thank everyone. I greatly appreciate it. And today we have our second Reddit guest, so introduce yourself and tell us about you.
Yeah, well, hi. Hi, Jesus and everyone. My name's James Buckley. I am a new recruit via Reddit, which is pretty cool. And so a little bit about me. I have my own podcast, the Superhero Strength Podcast. It's a show where I chat with trainers of superhero actors. People like, who have we got recently? People like Zachary Levi or Tom Holland or Ben Affleck, people like that. I've actually chatted with their trainers, and I talk all about what they do, really to get these people in shape for their movie roles. So that's a little bit of something I do, and that's sort of what's gotten me into the podcasting world. And I've been sort of in the geek sphere, you could say, for pretty much forever, as far as I can think. And I've also been in the powerlifting and bodybuilding world for the last 10 years. So the podcast was my sort of way of combining my love of superheroes and comic books, and also my love of bodybuilding and lifting heavy shit. So yeah, that's a little bit of me.
Oh, nice. So when you came, well, not came up to me, but digitally anyways.
Yes.
And I
digitally walked into the room and said hi.
Kind of. Well, these days it is. You got these little chat rooms. And I saw your podcast and I was like, what is this? At first, I thought it was going to be one of those comic book podcasts where everyone just talks about, the power scales and all that.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, I enjoy them here and there if they're well done. But then I actually started listening and I'm like, oh, this is not what I was expecting. But then while I was listening and I was like, okay, this is interesting, because from my standpoint, like, I haven't really delve into the realm of exercising lately. Like, that's on the bottom of my list of my daily chores, like exercising. I'm not gonna lie, anyone who's seen me, I should probably get on there.
That's all good.
Yeah, but no, it's on my list, and I've recently actually been trying. I've actually had some back troubles as of recently, so I've been trying to do anything to kind of fix that foremost. But no, your podcast, the Superhero Strength Podcast, if I'm right. Hopefully I got that right.
That's right. Yeah.
Nice. No, yeah, the idea of talking to trainers, that's amazing. I would never have thought of that, and I'm glad I was able to. I listened to the last two episodes, and I was astonished that, I don't know why I say astonished, but I was intrigued, because it's powerlifting from me. I would say I would be the average general Joe. We just see people just lifting heavy shit and we're like, wow. But you kind of have to take into consideration that it takes a lot to do it. And I'll give them credit where credit is due. They put a lot of time and effort to get their bodies and minds to do that.
Oh yeah, and it really does, and it takes so much commitment. Like, if you really want to take it all seriously as well, it really takes it's a 24-hour commitment, 7 days a week sort of thing. And when I started the podcast, it was more I've always been interested in seeing these people, like actors, get in shape for their roles. I think it sort of started with, for me anyway, with Hugh Jackman when he started getting in shape for Wolverine, and he just got phenomenally ripped, and I think that's sort of where the interest kind of started. And yeah, over the years, I had been thinking, like, I got into listening to podcasts and things like that. And yeah, I had just had this idea a few years ago to, wouldn't it be cool to find out exactly what it is that they did to get in shape for their thing. And like, I mean, there's things you see on the internet, like you type in whatever, like how did Chris Hemsworth get in shape for Thor? There's heaps of stuff online and interviews and things like that with various people and workouts and things like that. But they're all kind of like inspired workouts and things like that. There's no actual real there's not a whole lot out there that's like really tells you what it is that they did to get in shape to play, for Chris Hemsworth to play Thor. It's all like inspired workouts. This might be a workout that Chris Hemsworth did to get in shape. And I was like, man, I want to actually get to the source, talk to the people that actually did it. And that was sort of where the idea was born. And to my knowledge, it's the only kind of podcast in the world of its type. And it's something that intrigues me, so it keeps me interested, which is what keeps driving it forwards and growing.
No, that's cool. Like I would say my first initial thought, as far as like people getting in shape and the superhero role, as would have been. You probably have an episode, but what's her name? Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot.
Yeah, Gal Gadot. When she was cast as Wonder Woman, that was the first time that I was wondering if she fit the role as Wonder Woman, because there's a lot
because of her physique.
Yes, and that was the first time I felt like I was wondering, can she play the role? It wasn't her acting status. She is a wonderful actress, but
yeah, but you've got to look the part though as well.
Exactly. So I was that would have been, and like I wish I would have known your podcast around that time, because I don't know if you did talk about it in particular.
I haven't actually talked about her yet. I've been trying to get one of her trainers on the show. It's sometimes depending on who the trainers are and how busy they are. It can be difficult, so that's why I'm always trying to get the trainers on when I can and things like that. But I haven't had Gal's trainer on, but I have had the trainers though for all of the other Amazons though. So I had
cool.
Mario Donato, who was the trainer for pretty much all of the other Amazons, whichever the plural is, but he trained all of the others. So and Gal had she had her own special personal trainer.
But okay, so yeah, that's cool. Just like I said, that would have been the time I would have liked to have your podcast. Your podcast, because that was the first time, like you said, it's something where like there's a lot of method actors that really get into their roles and getting into physical physique for some of these, mostly when you're talking superheroes are, well, these naturally imaginary characters that were drawn years ago, and it's hard to become them and not only portray them properly as you can just feel it. Like for me, since the recent incident with Henry Cavill and him dropping as Superman really like hurt me, because one, Superman is one of my like all-time favorite heroes, and at first I did not feel he portrayed him, but toward the end of his first film, Man of Steel, I really like enjoyed his portrayal of Superman, and I was disappointed kind of how DC is kind of doing it right now, and a little disappointed that he's stepped down, but I understand why he stepped down. But it's one of these things that
Well, he's not. It's not official that he stepped down yet. It is just a rumor at this stage. So I don't like. For me, I'm still holding out hope that that he is still in the role because I think Henry Cavill is great. So
same.
I think he. All respect to Christopher Reeve. Christopher Reeve is and will always be the greatest. But I think Henry Cavill though was the perfect next in line, to replace him as Superman. He just looks the part. I just think he's great in the role and resembles everything about Superman. So I hope I hope that all of that stuff we heard a couple of weeks ago was just the ugly part of Hollywood negotiations. That's what I'm hoping. So, yeah.
No, I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful because even though DC right now is not in the best terms as far as their films, no, but
it's very hit and miss.
And there's Aquaman and Shazam are coming out soon, and I don't want it to end there. Like, honestly, they're like, for sure I want Shazam to be great and fun film, because this is going to be the first time that people are going to really delve into for non-comic book readers, such an obscure character.
That's right.
And
it's sort of like kind of like when Marvel released Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, no one had heard of Guardians of the Galaxy, not mainstream audiences anyway. And I mean, I didn't even really know that much about them when they were when that movie was announced. And I think Shazam is kind of like that. I think very unknown character that that it just looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Like, Zach Levi is great and is perfect for that, for playing that character.
No, yeah, I'm hoping like he like you were talking and how his trainer were talking. He did a lot of work to get into that role, and I don't want all that hard work he put into it just to end with that one film. I want him to continue.
It's like it's like I said, it's they're very hit and miss. Like, I think Man of Steel was absolutely fantastic. That movie gets better every time I watch it. It's a masterpiece of filmmaking, I believe anyway. I am biased because Superman is also my favorite character, but Batman versus Superman, I'm appreciating it more now as time has gone on with watching the Ultimate Edition. I mean, it still has its problems, but I like it more than I did when I first saw it. And Suicide Squad, Justice League, I tried it again the other week on Netflix, and
I recently watched it too.
Yeah, again, there's bits about it I enjoy, but the movie itself is not good. It's not good at all.
No, as far as Justice League, it's just the whole CG mustache with Superman's face. That's what gets me, and I recently saw Mission Impossible, and he was wonderful in that film. Like, it just hurts that since his schedules were really mixed up and all the reshootings, it's like it hurt. Like, the plot wasn't that great to begin with in Justice League, but it just was like a mess. And
the moustache thing just added to it, and it's just like just making this whole thing a mess. And I watched it with my wife the other day, and actually she hadn't seen it. And that very first scene where they showed the cell phone footage with the kids interviewing him for their podcast, how cool would it be to have Superman on your podcast? With that whole thing with his mouth and everything like that. And even my wife turned to me and was like, "What's up with his face?" And I was like, and I just said, "Do you remember the whole mustache thing?" And she's like, "Oh, that's right." And you're just watching it, and it's just like this weird growth kind of growing up. And the thing I've always wondered is how did anybody let this go? How did anyone let this go out? To actually, go to print, you could say, like the people at the in the special effects house, whoever's doing the CGI work there. How did anyone just sort of go, "Yep, that's good enough. Let's send that to Warner Brothers to put in the film"? Like, what?
You know what's funny is I can imagine like last minute like edits and like, okay guys, there's a team of like 12 people and like, okay guys, we got 1 week. You have to somehow make this mustache not look like a real mustache on Henry's face. Okay, go. and they're working tirelessly, and that's like the best they can do in its time. And people are just seeing credits and stuff, like everyone's like, "Oh my god, we tried so hard, but we couldn't do it. Not enough time." I was like, "It's sad, yeah." It's like CG has been doing a lot recently, but as much as CG can do, it can only do so much. Mostly if you put in such a time constraint.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and I probably don't respect the work enough. I mean, like maybe doing CGI moustaches is actually, the hardest part of all CG. It's like you can make dinosaurs for Jurassic Park and everything like that. That's easy, but putting a moustache on a face, that could be where it's really tricky.
Actually, removal. That's all.
Sorry, yeah, that's all right. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, removal. It would actually probably be easier to insert a moustache than.
Oh yeah. Like I'd rather have seen a super mustache. Like it can do stuff.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
Now that's something I don't know. I'm like, it hurts. I'm really like some of the DC heroes are some of my favorite heroes, and I was really hoping for Justice League to be a thing in our age. But I don't know. I don't know how it's faring with, and I know a lot of companies are trying to do this whole like universal movie genre style like Marvel's doing, and with Marvel hitting some new hits with why can't I think Captain Marvel,
like Avengers, Captain Marvel coming up.
Yeah, Captain Marvel, and then it's not officially part, but Venom. I'm really looking forward to that coming up soon. I think in a couple of weeks.
That looks interesting. I don't know much yet. It looks interesting. I mean, I just don't know how we can do a Venom movie without Spider-Man in the universe. That's what I find a little bit weird and everything like that. But it sort of makes me go back to thinking about. It makes me think about the Catwoman movie that we had with Halle Berry. However long ago.
I forgot about that.
It was a movie about a villain where there's no reference at all to the main their main antagonist. In Catwoman's case, Batman. I don't even think the movie was set in Gotham City. So it was just a turd, and or as Venom would say in the trailer, like a turd in the wind. And it just makes me think about that this Venom movie does. Like if it doesn't have anything to do with Spider-Man or anything like that, I'm scared it will be like that.
Nah, I feel you there. I'm gonna put some hope in it. I feel Tom Hardy is a good actor, and he's so far from the trailers, he's doing a good job. So I'm gonna.
And Tom Hardy's is he doesn't really do normally crappy movies. Like he's usually in really good stuff, so makes good choices. So hopefully this is one of them too. And it ends up being like a really surprisingly really good movie.
And then we'll see him in the future. Now that what was it earlier this year that Marvel bought some of the Fox properties, if I remember right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, for however many billions of dollars.
Actually, if I remember correctly,
Like
Disney owns like 67% of the entertainment market as far as things are concerned.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we are in the world of Disney's overlord.
Yes, Mickey Mouse is actually the secret world overlord here.
He is the Sith Lord. You can just see him.
Yeah, him and Minnie Mouse. Rule of two.
Oh, but no, yeah. So I'm hoping good things as far as Venom. We'll see. Then Captain Marvel is looking interesting. That's also another good obscure character that people don't really know about.
Yeah, and that looks really good. Yeah, I thought that movie was fantastic. And the trailer was fantastic. And just it's all going to be set in the 90s. So people my age, I'm 33, so like I'm a 90s kid, so there's going to be lots of nostalgia for me. Like even in the trailer where you see her crash into the Blockbuster store, I was like, wow, I haven't seen one of them in years.
There's only one in operation in the entire United States.
Wow, I think the last one here in Australia possibly closed down a while ago. Like we had one here in my town, and I think about 4 or 5 years ago, I think that shut down, which was very sad actually. So there's
That's so
actually only
recent.
one. Yeah, there's actually only now in a town that had like a lot of video rental places. There's now only one where I am now. So yeah, they're just slowly dying off.
Yeah. Hey, Netflix and Hulu and Amazon.
Yeah.
And then Disney once again coming around the corner with their streaming service.
Oh, that's right. Everyone's got a streaming service now. It's interesting.
It's all video on demand. That's all we as people want these days. Is we're not into this. Me personally, I'm not into the schedule like shows anymore. It's kind of hard with my work schedule as far. I just can't find the time slots to watch shows on their schedule. So why not just have them either streamed or pre-recorded and then watch them on my own time? So
exactly, and that's what we do too. Like we very rarely watch regular TV these days. It's all Netflix or YouTube as well. I would watch a few things on there as well, and it's all very much on demand stuff. Like even just renting a movie is now all done through my phone. I just throw it straight up on my TV. You have the movie in 30 seconds. There's no you don't have to go to the. I mean, there is a charm to the old ways of like going to the video store and you're there for half an hour picking out stuff and everything, and then when you go up to the counter, then you get told, oh, there's a Thursday deal. You actually get 5 movies for the price of 3. So you're like, oh, okay. So you go back and you spend another 20 minutes looking for another couple of movies to rent. There is something like I used to love doing that, but now I can just be sitting in my underwear on my couch with pizza in front of me and just go straight to my phone and 2 clicks and I've got it already. I'm already watching the movie.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. That's convenience is our luxury these days.
We can just fully sloth it up now.
Yep, exactly. So what have you been watching on Netflix recently? There's like one film that I recently saw. Well, they're Netflix originals anyways. But what have you been watching?
I haven't watched. I want to watch a couple of the recent Netflix movies. I haven't watched too many. For me, for the most part, I mean, they kind of haven't been all that good. The ones I've watched anyway. I want to see the recent one with Michael Pena. That one looks interesting.
I saw that one.
You did? I can't remember what it's called. The Invasion one or something like that.
Extinction or something.
Extinction. Yeah, I think that might be it. Yeah, they all looked interesting. I mean, what did you think of that? Do you recommend it?
Do you enjoy sci-fi?
I love sci-fi.
Do you like brain teasers and trying to figure out what the hell's happening?
Yeah, it's all well. I mean, if it ends up becoming something interesting,
then I feel it's a reasonably good film. It left me wondering a lot. There was a lot of action. There's a lot of like what the hell is happening here? And I was never really like torn away. As far as like action wise, it was good. Acting was, I would say, reasonable. No one really kind of stood out. I was just like, okay, this character is that person. Okay, but yeah, it kept me entertained. Let's go with that.
Well, that's good. That's good enough for me. I'm expecting like a bit of a B movie sort of thing.
B plus.
Yeah, it looks interesting to me. But like for shows, though, I think shows is where Netflix really shines. Like we just finished watching Ozark season 2, and
how is that? That's something on my list actually that I want to see.
Oh, you haven't watched any of Ozark?
No, that's something like I've had in my on my list.
Yes. Ozark. Yeah, no, check that one out. Season 1 was good. Season 1 was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It wasn't great, but I enjoyed it though. This is with Jason Bateman and Laura Linney as his wife. But season 2 though just takes it all to a whole new level, and it's just crazy. Like if you like stuff like Breaking Bad, then I think you'll really like Ozark.
So for anyone listening, can you give them a brief description of what the show is about?
Yeah, well, it kind of is. So you got Jason Bateman, and we start out. So he has been laundering money for a a drug dealer, like a very high profile, like a big time drug dealer in Chicago, and his business partner that's been doing the work with the laundering with him, I think, has been embezzling money, and so this drug dealer guy from the cartel finds out and kills him, and he's about to kill Jason Bateman too, and Jason's like, basically makes him Jason Bateman's character, what's his name, Marty Bird, makes him a deal to be able to launder all of the rest of his money and everything like that in a town called or in a region of the US, which is the Ozarks in Missouri, I believe it is. And so that's sort of where he takes his whole family and everything like that to the Ozarks to launder all of this money. Like, basically, he just came up with this whole plan on the fly, with a gun to his head, and now he's got to now come through with what he said, and it just all goes from there. So it's all about money laundering, drug cartels, people getting killed, all of this stuff, and it's just really, and it's just the intensity of everything like that, and the stakes just get higher and higher and higher, and as I guess the deeper in Marty Bird gets into this whole world, and it's really cool.
Hey, now that sounds something up my alley. It's like I said, it has been on my list. It's just that notion to kind of sit down and put yourself in the film, not the film, into the show, and put yourself like, okay, I'm gonna give myself. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say 1 or 2 episodes. It's gonna probably be 4 or 5. The way.
It was one that didn't get me hooked until near the end of or halfway through the first season. But from there, and usually like that, if a show needs that long, to get me really interested, I'm out. I mean, if it can't get me in the first 1 or 2 episodes, I'm usually out. But for this show though, I was still intrigued enough to keep going, and it's it really paid off. Like, you won't regret watching it.
All right, sweet. I have to then get really into actually sit down and actually watch it then. So
yeah.
And for the Extinction one, anyone listening, Extinction is basically a Netflix film that is starring Michael Pena and Lizzie Kaplan. It's basically about like aliens invading, and this Michael Pena plays this family man who's having like weird nightmares, and seeing like kind of the future and like aliens invading, and then it happens. It's really crazy. There's like this weird, like what's the best way, precognition kind of feeling that's happening, and then it's really crazy, like action packed. You're gonna be trying to figure out how he's doing it and what the hell's happening, and it has a reasonable like turning point, and so reasonable film, B+. So.
That sounds good.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. All right. So there is one question I want to ask, since you do host the Superhero Strength podcast. What would you say your top 3 superheroes are?
My top 3. I mean, it changes. Well, number 1 never changes. I would say number 1 is Superman. Number 2 would be Batman. I mean, I'm a DC guy. And number 3, it would have to be, you've probably heard of him, but the Phantom.
Oh, okay, that's a good obscure one. I have heard of him. Yes.
The Phantom was probably one of my biggest, what was one of my favorite comic book characters, as a kid, like that was. I mean, so over here in Australia, if you couldn't tell with the accent, I'm Australian, and over here in Australia, like you can get all of your DC and Marvel comics and things like that, but they are more expensive than what you would pay in the US, with shipping and all of that stuff. And as a kid, like they were never really something I read all that much or could really afford to buy. But we had the Phantom over here. Like the Phantom gets published over here in Australia, and you can buy from pretty much any news agent outlet, wherever you get newspapers and things like that. So the Phantom is quite is more easily accessible to buy here in Australia. And like for you would buy a 36-page comic book, which is way more pages than a regular DC or Marvel one, which is what, 22, 25, something like that. And you pay $1.50 for one of these for the Phantom. So I just started reading those when I was about 10, I think. And and yeah, and just read. Oh, I've got tons of them. I've got tons of them up in the roof of my house now, like hundreds. And yeah, so I mean, he would have to be. I haven't read as many lately, but yeah, the Phantom is still is up there as one of my favorites.
Nice. So what's interesting is that you and I share the first, like, Superman and Batman are one of my top two superheroes of all time as well.
Oh, they're the greatest. Yeah.
No, they are. They are the best. They're some of the most reasonable written characters. They are the most popular as far as our generation is concerned.
Yeah. And
it's just kind of hard to beat them. And like, one thing's great about comics, and that I've been, well, I haven't got it into comics, but I've been seeing like YouTube channels that talk about them, and they like do a reasonable explanation about the stories and everything. So I've been kind of getting deeper into the whole like stories that most people don't know these days. So I've been trying to up my knowledge as far as superheroes. So I've been luckily able to get like more alternate versions of Superman, Batman, and all these crazy shenanigans they get into. Is there any, like, do you just like the original standard Superman, or have you like, or Batman, or have you seen some alternate versions that they have put out in the last couple of years or decades, actually?
Alternate versions. I don't think I've really read too many things on alternate versions. I mean, I enjoyed the like the Superman Red Sun storyline that came out a while ago now. That's the one where it's like an Elseworlds story of like if back in the 1980s when Superman crashed, 1980s, maybe even 70s, whatever. But back when Superman, little baby Kal-El, crashed, crash landed into Earth. What if he didn't land in Smallville, Kansas? What if he actually landed in communist Russia? And that's a story there where Superman grows up in communist Russia instead of Smallville, and it just shows everything that might have happened with that scenario. So that's a really interesting one. Other alternates, are probably things like, I mean, The Dark Knight Returns in a way is a bit of like an alternate take on Batman, really. I mean, because we have like an older Batman. Yeah, I mean, that's a Batman not from the main continuity of everything like that. It's a standalone story. So that's one that's probably is an alternate take, really, which is probably one of the best ones. I mean, that's probably the most popular Batman storyline, I would say.
Yes, so, I remember when I watched when they made the animated film for that. I had to find the prints, and luckily they were doing like some hardcover copies of that comic in particular, and I had to get it. It's that storyline, and as far as the film they did was really good. It's really good, and it's really like fun just to see a not futuristic, but a future version of our heroes just aging with time.
Yeah, that's right. And like Batman's grizzled by time and everything, and he's old. He's not up for any bullshit, and he's not taking any crap from anybody, even Superman. He's just kicking ass.
So that's honestly that is there's a version of Superman that I recently was able to watch. It's a movie they recently did, or at least last year. It's I believe it's Justice League of Heroes and Monsters.
Okay.
Let me see. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna see. I have that film. Give me 1 second. I want to double check.
And I'll just vamp here then, if we're still doing this. Whilst Jesus is off doing that, I'll keep the show going for all of you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's probably one of the good. The Dark Knight Returns is one I like, but I also really love though the Flashpoint Paradox storyline. So if you might have seen the movie of that, but yeah, there's also the Flashpoint storyline where Barry Allen goes back in time to save his mother from dying, and then when he comes back, it's a whole different alternate reality. And instead of Bruce Wayne being Batman, we have his father, Thomas Wayne, is actually the Batman. That's a fantastic one where it was actually Bruce who died in the alleyway, and yeah, Thomas Wayne ends up becoming the Batman because of it, and Martha Wayne, becomes the Joker. So that's another crazy take on everything, and you have a different take of Superman as well. Superman that's been again didn't land in Smallville, but he landed in Metropolis, and was then basically captured and kept for study by I don't know, by Star Labs or some government organization that keeps him out of the sunlight and everything. And yeah, and he's a very small, skinny Superman that doesn't know anything of what's going on. It's a very different take on everything. That's a great storyline.
Oh no, that is a great storyline and a wonderful film. I'm glad that they did a good.
No, it is.
They did a good adaptation to it because it's hard sometimes. Like I'm glad they're doing live actions now, and it's rough as far as the DC side is concerned. But I'm glad that they're trying. But some of the animated films are much more feasible since everything's originally been drawn.
The TV and animated universe is where DC kills it.
Oh no, that like DC for sure.
Yeah, that's like the TV shows like the Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, things like that. They're amazing shows, and same thing with the animated shows as well. I watched the recent Death of Superman movie, and that was really good, like a really good take. Following for the most part the actual storyline from back in the 90s, and it was really good. That's where DC really gets their stuff right. I mean, they get the characters are right, the sentiments of the characters and things like that, and they just. Yeah, that's just where they get it.
They do so good animated, and it hurts a little bit when I'm seeing live actions because sometimes they do a good job as far as casting and their portrayal. It's just these storylines they choose is so disheartening when they're doing it, and it's hard, and I want the best for DC. Like I want these characters to be shown to their best of their abilities because we love these characters, and
exactly.
And it just hurts so much because as far as like the Marvel movies, like some of these characters, like for the most part, everyone knows them now, but I would not have imagined them so much back when I was younger. Like I knew of them, but not as like the mainstream. Everyone knew who Superman and Batman were growing up. Like they were like they were the ones that were everywhere. But now it's like Iron Man, Hulk, Thor. These are Superman and Batman are still up there, but it's thanks to Robert Downey Jr. Doing a reasonable portrayal of Tony Stark, and Chris Evans doing
fantastic portrayal, I think.
And Chris Evans doing Captain America, like they're doing a good job, and I'm glad that Marvel has been doing it because it's, like you said, like Guardians of the Galaxy, no one knew who these ragtag team of like rambunctious like people were, and now everyone knows who Rocket Raccoon is.
That's it. Everyone knows who Star-Lord is, and Drax, and Gamora, everyone.
And so I'm like, I'm glad, and people are now just kind of looking back, or at least some people are like looking, who are these people and where do they come from? But you're right, like DC does shine as far as animated films because there's some Marvel animated films that I've tried watching, but I don't know, they just don't feel as potent. I would say they just don't feel right to me. In particular, I can't really actually think of any Marvel animated film that kind of just stands out to me. like off the top of my head. It's usually always DC films that.
Yeah, for me, it's probably the Planet Hulk one was interesting.
Yeah, it is. Okay, that is a good one.
Yeah, that was good. But yeah, I think that's probably the only one I can really remember watching. I've probably watched others, but
No, yeah, same. But
the DC ones, like, and even things like the Dark Knight Returns cartoon movie, animated movie, was that was really good. I mean, like, you had a really great cast in that as well. I think it was Peter Weller who played RoboCop. The original RoboCop did a really good version of the voice of Bruce Wayne. Where usually, for me, like when I read Batman comics, I read them imagining the voice of Kevin Conroy from the animated series, like he is my Batman. But Peter Weller did a great different take of the character, and yeah, again, that's just where they get it right, is with the animated stuff.
No, yeah, and okay, so the film I was talking about a little earlier is Justice League: Gods and Monsters.
Oh, so, yes, I have heard of it. I haven't seen it, though.
It is a good Elseworld story. It's the concept for this one is, so Superman doesn't end up in Kansas. He ends up somewhere around like Arizona, and he is not if I remember right, he is not the son of Jor-El, but Zod instead.
No.
So I can't remember the name of Superman's mother, but she still shares the same mother, but just the dad's Zod, or the DNA is at least Zod. And he's picked up by this immigrant family, and he's raised Hispanic. And that's interesting for at least my take, since I have a Hispanic background.
Yeah.
And then the other two heroes, so it's Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. And Batman, this version of Batman, he's not this super rich, like, philanthropist. He is a scientist. He is smart. Well, he is smart overall, but he's just a scientist who is working to try to fix an illness he has and using bat DNA. And he ends up turning himself into a real vampire, so he has to feast on blood. And then Wonder Woman in this version is not an Amazonian, but she is the daughter of Darkseid, and she somehow winds up on Earth, and then there's this whole fiasco with that and her family.
She's one of the new gods.
Yes. So
right.
So this version are like more dark heroes, and they do stop villains, but they don't like stop it like traditional heroes where, the rule of no killing. These heroes kill people. Like, you're dead. Like, Superman zaps you and kills you. So, yeah, they're like
interesting.
Yes, I highly recommend Gods and Monsters.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out.
That is a good version of one of my favorites, and like I said, like I was hoping so much for DC to do Justice League well, because they can open up so many else stories and hopefully bring live action versions of those. Like, that would have been so amazing to do.
Yeah, it would be, and I mean, I still have hope that they will eventually get there. I think they will eventually. They'll crack the code of everything like that. I mean, I think Zack Snyder is a very talented filmmaker, and as I said, I love Man of Steel, but the vision that I think he had with the direction of where it was going, I think Warner Brothers had been really, their hands were tied in a way to that, and I guess because they were very reactionary to the reception that Batman vs Superman received, which, and part of the reason was from the reaction, like the reason why that movie theatrically anyway wasn't very good was because the studio made Zach cut out like half an hour of footage.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so that's why it wasn't a very coherent movie. They were just very reactionary to it. But and then obviously when it was like 2 weeks after Batman vs Superman came out, they went straight into filming Justice League, and then all of the the tragedies and ugliness and everything like that happened there, and then we all know what happened with Joss Whedon coming in to take over from directing from Zack Snyder, which is why we just got this weird Frankenstein of a film with Justice League and things like that. So I think once they can get away from all of that and start moving forwards and make another Superman movie, like get Henry back for that. It's that.
Okay, I got something for you. This is something I recently been talking with a few people. So, worst case scenario, if Henry and Ben Affleck, because Ben Affleck has been also been rumored to be leaving if Henry leaves as well. So, worst case scenario, if both of them leave, should they reboot the Justice League team?
The whole universe? That's where I don't know. I really don't know. It's hard because you've got so... If you reboot, how do you reboot it? I mean, I don't want to see him do a Flashpoint thing. I mean, I said before, I love Flashpoint.
That would have... Oh my god, that's what I wanted. I wanted something like that in the future.
I just don't feel like... I feel if they did something like that... I mean, as a comic book fan, I think it would be great. But then I'm also looking at it as from the perspective of someone that doesn't know comics. They would have to really work out a way to do this thing, where... a non-hardcore fan would understand it, and this is the little inner debate that I have with myself about it. But should they spend $300 million in making a movie just to initiate or facilitate a reboot? Why not just reboot instead of making a movie to reboot it? It just, to me, it's just... that's a waste of money. But we still have good bits of the DC universe. Like we have Wonder Woman. Like we have Gal Gadot. I don't want to lose her as Wonder Woman.
No, I do not.
Fantastic.
She is good.
I mean, Jason Momoa. From what we've seen of him, I want him to stay on as Aquaman. And even the same with Zach Levi, with Ray Fisher, as Cyborg, Ezra Miller. I even though his Flash, his Barry Allen is very different to the Barry Allen I know from the TV show, from the comics and things like that.
Oh yeah.
I still really liked him in Justice League. He was a really good part of it. So I don't want to lose them. And I think if we rebooted it, if you really were to do a proper reboot, you'd have to get rid of all of the good parts. So. Yeah, I don't know. Do you just James Bond it? Do you just get rid of him? I mean, that's what they did with Michael Kilmer. Michael Kilmer, idiot. Michael Keaton changing to Val Kilmer with Batman Returns through to Batman Forever. Could we do that? Just change actors and pretend like no one noticed? I mean, I know there's been talk of recasting. I mean, I don't see any validity in the rumors of Michael B. Jordan playing Superman. I think Michael B. Jordan is great. I don't want to see him in the role, and it's not a racial thing or anything like that. But it's just I just don't think he's not Superman. There's nothing about that I can see with Michael B. Jordan playing Superman.
Okay, so I don't want to stop you there, but there is one version of Superman that I think he could play, and I can't remember which version of it. It is off the top of my head. It's not President Superman. It's maybe it is President Superman. I think he's Earth 42.
Yeah, I do know there is like a black Superman.
There's two of them.
I think he was in. I do remember there was a black Superman, which might be the one that was in the Crisis on Infinite Earths storyline.
I feel he might be. Yeah, I might be. I feel he might be able to portray it if why can't I remember his Michael B. Jordan? Like, this is also going back to your podcast. He did a lot of good training to get into the role for Creed.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he got in amazing shape. So Creed, and then as Killmonger.
As far as the physique, he's reasonable might need to just, for me, and this is my opinion, he might need to just bulk up a little bit more to just kind of fill out the suit. But I think he might be able to pull off, I can't remember which version of the Black Superman he is, but no, I feel as an actor he can do it. He's done recently some good jobs, and I know a lot of people don't want it, and I personally was like skeptical too until I was like trying to look into some of the rumors and stuff, and I can feel why you don't want him to be, because one, it's kind of going to be hard if they did do a reboot and that's how they did it, like then that's kind of more insulting to the audience just doing it that way, because there's a way to do it, and that is not the way to do it. Like, no, I agree. Maybe in the future it's like bring Black Superman in, but don't do it right now like that. You're just gonna hurt that character.
That's right. Give us a definitive Superman to begin with. You're like as the character was originally created as, like portrayed, I guess. Give us that first. Get Superman right first, and then play around with, his different ethnicities and origins and things like that later on. Yeah, but let's get the core character correct first.
Exactly right. Give us Boy Scout Clark Kent.
Yeah,
give us that then. So sorry I cut you off, but yeah.
No, you're okay. It's all good.
Shoot, now I don't remember. You were like on something. No, sorry, I like cut you off, and you were like on a roll.
No. I think that was pretty much my point. Though, is just it's just do we just get a whole, just put different people into the cast, to just recast and continue moving forwards. I mean, that might be it. I mean, I don't think Henry Cavill's out, so I think it will just be Ben Affleck, and that's fine. I think to just to recast Batman. As much as I really did like Ben Affleck as Batman, I did in Batman vs Superman. I mean, Batman wasn't the greatest in Justice League, but no. Anyway, I'm talking about Justice League and how bad it was.
Hey, no, that's your opinion, and I kind of somewhat agree with you. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's
it's rough. It's rough. For us as fans, it's just rough to say that, right? You want to love it, but to be a real fan, you have to be critiquing what they're doing.
Well, that's it. I mean, and hey, maybe what they could even do is, I mean, I just watched yesterday. I don't know if you saw it, but the Bumblebee, the latest Bumblebee movie trailer.
I have not. I remember it's on my feed.
After we get off this podcast, you need to go watch it, because if you like Transformers, you'll love this trailer.
Okay, so
this is I don't want to spoil it for you, but if you are a fan though of the original Generation 1 Transformers cartoon, then that's where they're taking this Bumblebee movie, which is essentially a prequel to the Michael Bay Transformers movies, because it's set in the 1980s, but they're bringing it all around to be more like those original cartoon and comic book characters from the 80s. So Bumblebee is a Beetle. He's not a Camaro. You've got, the trailer showed a bit more of Starscream, who was in that original trailer from 6 months ago, and where Starscream is back in his original form from Generation 1 as an F-15 Eagle. I don't want to spoil it for you, but people will probably be listening to this who will have already seen it.
No, go for it. I'll watch. Okay. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah. Well, basically, so
actually, while you're talking, I should just be watching it then.
Just put yourself on mute for a while. You've got, some of the characters that popped up in that thing was the proper-looking Shockwave, the Decepticon Shockwave. Megatron's 2IC on Cybertron, and then the cream on top of it all. You just see a little bit of him, but you hear Peter Cullen's voice as Optimus Prime, where he's like, Bumblebee. I can't do a good Peter Cullen, but and you see full red Generation 1 Optimus Prime with as the flat-nosed truck-looking Optimus Prime, not the kind of Optimus that we saw in Michael Bay's movies and everything like that. Optimus Prime as we know him, and I just lost my shit. I was like, oh my god, this is insane. And that's that's a possible way in which, you know, like that, in how they're, well, this is a way in which they're kind of in a way rebooting the Transformers universe. So maybe that can be done. This is a very big roundabout way of saying maybe that's something they could do with DC.
All right, okay. So I'm watching it right now. I'm looking at it.
Oh.
No, you're right. That is an interesting way to do it, and I myself kind of fell off of the Transformer kind of craze, I would say, that came out. Like, the first couple films were fun, but then they were just getting so outrageous.
They just get worse. They get progressively worse as they go. Like, I haven't even all of number 5 the last night. I turned it off 10 minutes in. I was like, this is terrible. I'm not wasting 3 hours watching this. So, like, I know it's going to be bad. So why do this to myself?
Exactly. So, like, I kind of fell. I've seen them. Like, I've seen them now. Like, I'm the type of person that, like, when the films first came out, like, I watched them like opening day. But like you said, as time progressed, I just saw Starscream.
You see, yeah.
Yeah, as time progressed, you know, now I just kind of waited for the reviews and things like that, and I just heard Optimus Prime. That is amazing. This is looking good. I'm not gonna lie, but no,
it's just
dude,
it looks like
it's just really amazing to watch this, and I'm excited now. I was hesitant the first time the first teaser trailer came out. It was like, okay, what are they doing? Like, I'm intrigued again with the franchise. Like, how are they going to do this prequel? But watching this, it kind of gets you that old nostalgia feel the first Transformer gave out.
Yes, that's right. And I've heard other people talk about it before. Like, I mean, the first Transformers movie and this one as well is kind of that, you know, boy and his dog kind of scenario. You know, like you know, like things like E.T., you know, which is like a boy and his dog, which is more like Elliot and E.T. It's that sort of, it's that kind of premise in a way, and I love that sort of stuff, and which is why I love the first movie, and yeah, why this one just looks really good. I really think this Bumblebee movie is just gonna completely change Transformers movies moving forward, and yeah.
No, yeah, I'm hoping that's from what I just watched. I'm hoping good things then, and I'm hoping this will kind of rejuvenate the franchise again and kind of set a good motion to it. Even though it's kind of a prequel, they can still kind of change it up a little bit and move forward with it.
Exactly. Yeah, and then you just forget about those movies are still there, the Michael Bay ones, but then they can just move in a different direction.
Exactly, right? Oh, God. Okay, now I'm a little bit more excited with the franchise, and let's hope good things for that.
Yeah.
So, sorry, just film talk.
You did yourself a disservice, though, by watching it. Or like,
sorry?
It's not really. You did yourself a bit of a disservice, though, to not really be watching it, you know, completely, like with the volume up and everything like that.
It's all right. I'll probably end up watching it a couple dozen times. That's how I usually am with trailers.
Same here. If it's a trailer that's got my attention, it's got me excited. Yeah, I'll watch it half a dozen times. Yeah.
Like when the first trailer for Infinity War came out. Oh God, I probably spent like a good half an hour just watching it and kind of letting it sink in.
Yeah.
And then watched another 3 hours of people reacting to it.
I like to do that too, actually. I do like to watch, trailer reactions as well, which is in a way it's weird. We're just watching somebody else watch a trailer, but it's like watching something with your friends. Like, I mean, for me, I don't have a lot of friends close. I do, but that are excited about some of the things, but you know, for a lot of the things that I'm excited about, a lot of people aren't. like a lot of my friends and things aren't as into something. So it's kind of cool to watch a trailer reaction, and then you're watching someone else get excited over the things that you love too, and yeah, in a way you're like, yeah, right, yeah.
It's just, no, yeah, it's just that sharing that joy. I'm not gonna lie, I understand how you feel. We both get what it is. It's just feeling that joy, or like this, depending on what it is. It could be joy, positive or negative. Like you can watch
That's right.
like you can watch something like, what is this horrible trailer, and then watch reactions like, do they think it's shitty too, or what do they think? No,
That's
yeah,
it, and then it's part of it just becomes part of the conversation in a way, and then you can interact from there. But that's why I have gotten into watching them, like what's his name, Magnus something or other is I enjoy watching his, I can't remember his name right now, but Tyro Magnus, sorry, he's a pretty well-known trailer reactor on YouTube, and I enjoy his, and a couple of others as well that I watch, like the Collider people and things like that. Do some pretty good reactions and things, and they're fun they're actually interesting to watch.
that's kind of what I would say 1/4 of YouTube is just basically reaction videos these days. I'm not gonna put them down because I do the same thing. I have a couple reaction. Yep, I have a couple reaction videos up there. So I'm not gonna like put them down because that's what I kind of what I do and kind of what I watch. So like more power to them. It takes some time to edit, put it together. Not so much, but it's just getting scared with copyright fiasco stuff because you are kind of So I understand that point, but I get it. It's a good fun way to just share your thoughts and feelings and kind of have it. And I should probably watch. So I'm gonna probably end up watching a couple of reactions to the Bumblebee trailers since I just saw it today.
Oh yeah, you probably get some similar like amazing reactions from people when Optimus Prime shows up. Like, had I been recording myself watching the trailer yesterday, you would have seen me lose my shit when Optimus Prime. When you see, because as you were seeing the trailer, it's just a little bit. You don't really see the full thing of Optimus, but you can see enough to be like, that is Generation 1 Optimus Prime.
Ooh.
That is
okay, so
that is the one I did.
I'm sorry, I don't want to.
No, I'm saying that was the Optimus Prime that I've now just picked up off my shelf here and is now sitting in front of me on my desk.
Nice.
There you go, mate. Yeah.
So what's funny is that there was down in the San Diego Comic-Con, my brother was on one of the security teams down there, so he was able to be inside the conference panel. Anyways, he was inside there watching
the whole H panel.
Yeah. So he was watching from the side to just kind of, but he was like there. And during the Bumblebee trailer, during the whole Q&A thing, the voice actor for Optimus Prime was
Peter
there.
Cullen.
Yes, he was there, and he was kind of like in disguise, like in cosplay.
Oh, cool.
And when he went up there to ask his question, he did it in the Optimus Prime voice.
Oh, what? So he wasn't on the panel.
No.
Oh, wow, that would have been amazing.
I wonder if they did it. My brother was losing his shit. Like
so he just got the microphone and just did said something like Bumblebee, I'm Optimus Prime sort of thing, and roll out.
Someone out there has to have put it on YouTube. I'm gonna try to find it. And if I
will be looking for that too. That would, that's one of the most iconic to me anyway. That's one of the most iconic voices. Like it's so you just know that voice anywhere, and it's just one of those voices. I think that people would have just lost their shit. Him and I think Peter Cullen and Kevin Conroy, like the voice of Batman from the animated series, they're so recognizable. And of course James L. Jones as well with Darth Vader and as well. But there's just some voices like that they just yeah, so distinctive. It's just so distinct and recognizable, and yeah, you'll never forget them.
Oh, I agree with you there, Mike.
Mm.
But no, yeah, it was fantastic, and I'm going to try to find that clip for anyone out there listening.
If you find it, post it up, please.
I will send you the link and everything, and I'll try to. Yeah, because my brother said he was freaking out so much that his staff sergeant had to like slapped him and told him like, you gotta look professional.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah.
like it's hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. I would have been. I think if I was there with the audience, they probably were like all losing their shit just hearing it. Oh, that was amazing. But yeah, that's one of the things I wish I kind of lived more near is kind of these cons and actually attending them, because they're so much fun to go to. When I see them, they're like really good, and I gotta kind of get myself like motivated to go to them, because there is like one that comes to a city near me, but it's always just not within my work time frame, and it bugs me a lot. But like I want to attend these, and I want to like get to see the actors and all the cosplay, and just like let all this nerd and like geek culture just hit me. Yeah,
that's it, and being around like-minded people.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That was like, there you go. Exactly.
Thanks. Yeah, yeah. It's. I think that's what it's all about. Like, I personally haven't been to a convention either. I live in a town where here in Australia where I'm sort of like smack bang in the middle between Adelaide, a city you've probably never heard of, but a major city in Australia, Adelaide, and Melbourne. So we're in a kind of a regional town here, and I just have never been to a convention that's held in either Adelaide or Melbourne, in those major cities. But yeah, I'm hoping to this year. I'm looking into. I haven't talked about this publicly, but I will. I'm looking for myself to actually incorporate my podcast into some panels or something like that at a couple of cons here in Australia to look at something like that. Sort of exploring the options and possibilities at the moment. So looking at that now, like, hosting a panel as a live podcast for my podcast, exploring those options right now, which will then obviously then get me to my first con.
Hey, no, more power to you. Like that's a good next step for a podcast. It's just kind of doing live shows. There's a few podcasts that I listen to that some of them are kind of like within, I would say, recent. Would you consider 2 years recent as far as podcasts are concerned?
Is in like new or?
Yes. Like
2 years. Well, I mean, my podcast has been going for 1 year, and I still consider it very new. So yeah, maybe 2 years.
Yeah. So they one of them has just hosted their first live, and they had a blast, and they were surprised with their, like, for me, like that, like for you, it's like that's one thing one day I would like to do is host a meet and greet kind of panel and have people come to me and just hang out, and that's something that's fun, right? That's something enjoyable, because you not only, because we sit behind a mic and talk, and like right now it's just you and me just talking.
That's right. And we've never met before today, so no, we've only like briefly chatted on emails and stuff like that. That's it.
And live panels is a chance to be face to face with the listeners, and it's amazing. There's a few podcasts prior to that who have been out for a couple years, and they post their live why can't I talk recordings? Their live recordings, and it sounds amazing because you can hear the crowd you can feel their energy, and that's amazing. It's like you finally get to feel it. The crowd just cheer for you, and it's probably going to be the most awkward thing possible, at least for me. If that ever happens, it's going to be like extremely awkward. Like, why are there people here to listen to me? Like, okay. But no, it's something one day in my future, and hopefully, like, you're trying your future coming up.
Yeah, and like for yourself, I mean, like, yeah, you've got a fun, interesting podcast, man. Yeah, with and it's unique as well. Like the game that we'll be playing soon sounds is something that's yeah is interesting, and it's something that that I think you could do in a live setting.
Thank you, man. That's like my show in particular has kind of evolved from what it originally was, because it was like kind of a topic or topics of the week, and then it kind of evolved into more topics and guests. Then it just what it is now is just talking with guests and their interests and their worlds. And I feel for me, I enjoy talking to people. It doesn't, and for anyone listening who knows me personally, I know it doesn't look like it, but I do like talking to people and listening to their interests, their hobbies, even their work. It's fun to hear someone else's take on their world. Like, it's just fun for me. I just want to learn about people.
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, and it's great as well. I mean, because it lets other people learn about that person too, but then it also lets those people as well from that person's network learn about you as well. So like people that maybe listen to my podcast will then be drawn to listen, will learn about you and hopefully check out some of your other episodes and vice versa.
No, yeah, it's a wonderful network of people, and
that's right.
It's just fun. Like honestly, I think I would never have met you if it wasn't thanks to the internet, because literally you're on the other side of the world. Actually, no, you're not on the other side of the world. Technically, you're like just a little bit.
Pretty close too, though.
Yeah, you're closer than most people.
We're pretty far away. Like it's I was looking at flights to New York the other day. It's like a 24-hour flight or 24 hours in transit. So yeah. Pretty far away.
Well, like I'm on the West Coast, so I'm a little closer than that.
Oh, right, yeah. So you're on, what, you in California?
North of that, Oregon.
Oh, right, yeah.
So yeah, I'm a little closer, but it's a good.
Still far.
Still far. But no,
yeah.
Like honestly, I would like. It's great that we're able to communicate like this. So.
Oh, exactly.
So. Like, and I'm glad I was able to put that Reddit ad up, because I've been in touch with so many other people from across the world, and there's some interesting episodes coming up.
Yeah, that's great. That's great, and it was a really cool thing. Like when I was just browsing through, I saw it, and I thought, you know what, that sounds really cool. I mean, it's in a way. I mean, it's done from my part partially. Because I want to get my, to talk with more people and talk about my podcast, like to, spread the awareness of my podcast as well. And it's also fun, though, to be on other people's podcasts as well. Like, it helps my experience talking with other people in more of a guest position instead of a host position, which I normally do. And it's, it just really, really helps. It helps everyone out though as well. Like you have now a more content for an episode, and as well as I get to meet and interact with your network and your listeners.
Exactly. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Exactly. Yeah. No. So it was a really cool idea to do it like that. So yeah. No, it's good. Yeah.
No, perfect. Is there anything else you would like to discuss, talk?
Anything I would like to discuss? I'm easy. I think I'm all good. We could go into playing the games that you've told me about. I'm interested in that.
Okay, so before that, we're going to be closing up, everyone. So before that, there is one thing we do beforehand. Since we are the Convoluted Podcast, we would like our guests to tell us one of the most strangest, weirdest, most convoluted thing that has ever happened, you have ever done, or you have ever encountered in your life.
So, shall I get into it now?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I was thinking about this before we got on the podcast, and I mean, I've done some pretty weird things. I'm going to give you a couple of things, totally unrelated. One thing I think is funny. The other one I think is hysterical. Some people may not agree. So we'll see. So the first one. So as I said before, I am a bodybuilder. So that was part of the with my podcast and everything like that. There's part of the fitness side of things with my podcast. So I competed in bodybuilding shows back in a couple of years ago, a few years ago now. And one of the weirdest things with that, so if you don't know what I'm sure people know what bodybuilding is, but the actual bodybuilding competition itself is where you're standing on stage with a bunch of other dudes standing in something a little larger than a G-string, and you're standing on stage flexing your muscles, trying to flex harder and be bigger and leaner than all of the other guys on stage. It's really weird, but I like it for some reason. And it's probably one of the weirdest situations I've ever been in was getting ready for that show. Like, not the dieting or the training or anything like that, but it was more in the last week when I had to get a full body wax done. So that was definitely a weird thing, which a friend of mine actually came in and filmed it as well. But I had to lay on the table, and not that I'm the hairiest of guys or anything like that, but I had to get my legs waxed, getting pretty much everything done. And I just thought, this is the weirdest thing ever. And then after that, the next day I had to go and get a spray tan after that, where you're standing in a little booth with a person basically holding a spray gun like you would use for spray painting painting a car. They're using one of these things. I'm standing in a booth wearing pretty much a sock over my junk and getting sprayed and being turned completely brown for this show. So things like that. I mean, I see, as I said, I love bodybuilding, but I've always thought, man, this is the weirdest thing, though. Like, it's just weird.
I'm not gonna lie. I was listening. I was trying to stay quiet to listen. The way you said it, you can picture it in your head, and it's like, wow, it is weird. But it's for some people, it is their everyday life. At least women, at least for women in particular.
For women and for guys. I mean, like, so when I actually got the wax, and that was the last competition I did, because I learned. You see, the year before, I was like, I'm not getting waxed, so I decided to shave, and which is actually probably even more difficult and weirder. So there were some positions I had to put my body into to get into certain areas, because I wasn't going to let my wife shave certain areas like my butt crack. I thought that's an area we don't need to get into with our marriage. We don't need to go there. So I was like, okay, no, I will do those areas. I probably didn't even need to do my butt crack, Jesus, because that's not on show. Like, I'm wearing something anyway, but I just got as deep as I could. And I remember there was one point where I'm standing in our bathroom, and I've got the shaver in hand, which the shaver I at that stage used to use for shaving my face. I threw that whole thing out afterwards. I was like, that is in the bin. But I was standing, I think I had one leg, I was standing in the bath. I had one leg up on the windowsill, and like right up there, and I'm in this weird contorted position, bent over, shaving the back of my butt crack and my cheeks, and this is like, I thought, if anyone walks in now, I can't explain any of this. So that's probably one of the weirdest things I've ever done. The other one is, so this gets mixed reactions from people. This is something I did when I was 21. So I'm 33 now. I was 21. So what's that? 12 years ago. That was 21. That was when I moved out of home from living with my parents and moved in with my girlfriend, now my wife. And we were moving towns, so moving from the town of Adelaide, which I mentioned earlier, moving 500 kilometers away to the town I'm in now, which is Mount Gambier, a smaller city. And so packed everything up, and there's one last thing that I've got, and it's like the last thing from my life of many years before as a single guy, which is a big old box of porn mags and of porno mags. And I'm like, what do I do? What do I do with these magazines? I didn't want to just throw them out. Like that's a waste. What a waste of what a waste of a great collection of porn here. Is this okay, by the way, to be talking about on your podcast?
No, I have something. I'll have something at the end.
Okay, great.
This is your time to share.
Fantastic. So anyway, what we did, I was like, what am I going to do with this? I'm not throwing it out. There's too many great memories here. and I can't. I'm not taking it with me. I'm not taking my big box of porn with me to moving with my girlfriend. I mean, that's not cool, right? You don't bring hang on, as we're picking out spots for everything to go. Well, what do I do with my porn, hun? What am I going to do with that? I can't do anything there. So what we decided to do was a letterbox drop. So all of the magazines, we found a street in a different neighborhood, and just we got all of the magazines. I mean, nothing super hardcore or anything like that, but we walked up and down this one street and put a magazine in every letterbox and mixed it in with the junk mail, catalogs and other things like that. Mixed it in with all of that stuff as we walked up and down this street, and I wish we camped out to see some of the reactions of people's faces the next day as they're going through their junk mail. And, here's a Target catalog, a Kmart catalog. What? A Playboy?
Okay. Hey, no, for someone out there, you just made some teenage boy's dream out there.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking. That's what that's what I'm thinking too. Like, I hope that's the reaction it got. I mean, other people have told me, that could have really damaged some families or something like that.
I was also thinking the negative. Like, you hear the wife like, what? Like, honey, what? Why are you getting Playboys?
Yeah, yeah. And why are those pages stuck together? No, they're all in good condition. Trust me. But
I understand. I understand the situation that you were in, because one of my buddies who that got married while he was trying to get all situated with his new wife and everything. He didn't know what to do, but what he ended up doing was he ended up giving me his whole porn collection. He said, like, I don't want to throw these away. So I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, just can you keep a hold of these? Like, sure, okay. Because he really didn't want to throw away his collection of porn. So he just gave me this box full of magazines and DVDs. Like, okay, dude, I'll hold on to them. And then when I got home, my dad asked me what I got. Like, yeah, I got all this porn. Like, oh, cool. Did he have anything good? Like, I don't know. Let's look through it, because I didn't really look at it. So
then there's an afternoon of you and your dad just going through a box of porn together.
Yeah,
and,
we were kind of interested. Like, what was he interested in? Like, okay.
That's some father-son bonding right there.
Hey, so we still have his collection of porn somewhere in my parents' garage somewhere. Really did not want to throw it away. So yeah, there you go.
There you go. So those are my two convoluted stories.
No, but thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
It's fun. It's fun to hear people's stories like that, and because you just never know. So it's game time now.
Game time. Game on.
Intro music here. intro music's in there now. So, hey, you gotta love editing.
Oh yeah.
So, you chose. Shoot, what is the name of the game now? I can't remember. Oh, One of Us. So, One of Us is a game based off cult following, where I gave you a couple prompts, and you kind of give us a spiel or a preach about your organization, and kind of sell us what your basic cult or organization is, and you're trying to recruit us. So, I gave you your prompts.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you get started. Did you come up with a name for your group, organization, or cult?
No. Oh man. Okay. I haven't thought about any of it, to be honest. Whilst we've been talking. So the name that I've come up with is, for my cult, is Children of the Snap.
Oh,
I don't know where I came up with that, but I just have. And so where I want us to imagine that we're living in the Marvel universe, the Marvel cinema. My list was coming through. The Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Avengers: Infinity War has just happened. So the snap has happened. Half of humanity has disappeared. We've just vanished. As we've seen, helicopters are crashing out of the sky, cars are crashing, people have disappeared, and we have half of humanity is left. And
okay.
So
that's the so everyone listening, that is the premise of the world you're living in now.
That is the premise of the world we are in, right?
Okay, so
and
now give us your speech.
My spiel for my following.
So yeah, say you're on a soapbox in a corner. Give us to us.
Okay. I want people to join my following, where we need to repopulate this planet now. We need to, like, this snap has happened, like there's not many of us left now. We need to get back on track and start excessively procreating once again to really get our numbers back up and really reestablish the human race. But we need to start, though, a different kind of a race. Like we've got this opportunity now to really start afresh, start how the human race should have evolved but didn't. Now we have the chance to really do it right. So we need to really excessively procreate. That's really getting in there and getting down and making some babies, guys and girls, and start this new race of superhumans, ones that are slightly have different mindsets, different ways of doing it. I want us to also be really following a different kind of leader, like following our inner demons and pushing ourselves more to following that of Satan and the gods of hell, is it word? and really, and as we evolve into who we are supposed to be, and that's what I'm thinking for us, everyone. And I don't know how to get this last bit in, Jesus.
Do your best.
I'll do my best, but
you're doing so good. You're doing good.
Oh, was I? Oh man, like it's getting these things in, it's getting these prompts in, and as we're really looking to our inner to express our inner demons with our new race. We also have times where we just stare, blankly staring at each other as we look into our souls, there are just blank stares of the damned as we look into each other's deep, dark souls as we excessively procreate this planet once again and recover from the snap that Thanos has put upon us. There we go.
There you go. You see, you did it. It ended well. Like, you did it.
Oh, good.
It worked its way at the end.
Oh, that's great.
It's kind of how I thought was gonna happen. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, that's all right then. That's good. I mean,
No, yeah.
I am just coming up with this literally on the spot. So.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't give you a little bit more.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's practicing my improv.
Hey,
skills.
yeah, there you go. So, okay. So now I have a few questions about your cults, Children of the Snap. So this is how the second half goes. Now this is where I'm going to ask you a couple questions to kind of. I listened to your spiel. Now I'm interested. Now, you're going to have to like rope me in now. So,
right.
So here's my first question. So, what should I bring to my first cult meeting?
Oh. Bring your favorite food with you. Yes, your favorite food, whatever it is. Pizza, spaghetti, burgers, whatever. Chocolate bars. Bring your favorite food, and we will dance around it and praise the food that you have brought for giving us the sustenance needed for this procreation, for rebuilding this demonic new race of humans.
Okay. Let's see here.
I say that because I'm hungry. I need to have breakfast.
All right, we're almost done. If you have a VIP membership, what would the benefits for that be in your cult?
You get so you have a VIP membership. It's like Scientologists that pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to read the book. So it's like Scientology, right? VIP members get to read the ancient scripts of the Children of the Damned following. So this has actually been we've been a small sect in for the last 500 years, and you will get to read the ancient scriptures that talk more about the Children of the Snap. See, we knew this was coming. The snap. We knew Thanos was going to do this. We foresaw this, and so we've been planning this for the last 500 years. Yeah.
So kind of the secret Hydra, basically.
Yes, that is it. Yeah, Hydra is just on the surface. Things go deeper, and that's what this is.
Damn, that's a good tie-in. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see here. 2 more questions. Describe how your cult chooses new leaders.
We do it through fight to the death. So challenges are put up. They're the VIP members then vote on the best 2 candidates, and then a fight to the death is then initiated.
So survival of the fittest, basically.
Exactly. We want to build a strong new human race. So, you gotta if we want to endure, we gotta be strong.
Okay, and my last question is, tell me more about your cult's 2-for-1 program.
2-for-1 well, I guess you bring someone else in, and you get in for half price.
How much is initiation then?
It's very cheap. It's only it's 5 easy payments of 25 cents.
Damn.
Yeah, we're really good. We're going for volume here. We want to get everyone in, so we need an entry point. So yeah, 5 payments of 25 cents. So
doable.
yeah.
So Children of the Snap. It got me interested. I hope our listeners were interested.
Join us. We're on Instagram and Facebook.
Oh, surprisingly, there is an Instagram. I mean, a Twitter. There is in the universe. There is that. Oh, thank you. That was hilarious. That was awesome. Thank you for playing. Good. That was fun, and I hope you had a little fun trying to work your way around that.
No, so. I did actually. I did, yeah, because I was a bit nervous before when I was watching your video explaining it all. I'm like, what the hell? How am I going to do this?
It's a good way to improv and play around with it.
It is. No, you're right. It is.
So, and thank you for taking the time. And I know it's early morning for you, and you're hungry.
Oh, it's okay. I'm usually up early anyway, so it's all good.
No, but thank you for taking the time to join us, and I hope everyone listening had fun time with us. So, go ahead and kind of let the people know how to find you, where to go.
Yeah. So, well, first off, thank you so much for having me on, Jesus, on the show. This has been a lot of fun. So thank you for the opportunity to be on your show. And like I said before, I think it's a really cool show. I've listened to a couple of episodes, and I want to listen to some more, mate. So this has been great. And so you can find me. You can check out the Superhero Strength podcast. It's on, it's wherever you get podcasts, really, is except for Spotify. For some reason, they haven't approved my thing. But everywhere else, you can listen to the Superhero Strength podcast. And and you can find me on Instagram, superhero_strength. I'm on Facebook as well. Same thing, Superhero Strength. Does anyone use Facebook anymore, though? Really? Probably.
So there's a good chunk. I don't anymore. Yeah. I've kind of pulled myself away from there, but there are still people who do.
Me too. I mean, I'll plug my Facebook, but yeah, it's there. And Twitter as well is superhero_Jimbo. For some reason, I decided not to make it the same as all of my other brandings. But yeah, that's where you can find me there on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And let me know if you listened or anything like that. Love to speak with whoever wants to chat.
Okay, there you guys go. And I'll have links for that below in the description. So thanks everyone for listening. Thanks, James, for taking the time. So we'll catch you guys next time. See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.